Here we go. Just gotta find it. Here we go. I bang cock in Bangkok. Can't stop. I turn and hit the same spot. Think not? I'm the thriller in Manila, the schlong in Hong Kong, pimp him like Bishop, magic Don Juan. Man, after the Henny with a Coke and a smile, I just pick up the motherfucking phone and dial. I got my condoms in a big-ass sack. I'm slanging this dick like a new jack. Biatch! Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. My name is Guy Figdon.
I'm Harley Neville. And that's great, because normally rap is so homophobic, and so to see him, bragging so openly about how much cock he gets in Bangkok and so on, that's very refreshing.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate that. Who's that?
That was Ludacris.
Ludacris has finally come out of the closet, and I commend him. In this day and age, anybody can and should come out of the closet if they feel so compelled.
Well, that was
he bangs cock in Bangkok.
That was
very clever.
That's Well, that's exactly the type of rap that you like, where you use the same word in two different ways.
Yeah.
And he just repeats the word. That's your favorite.
Yeah. That is what I like. The creative use of words, the same word
twice
to mean multiple things.
So he did it.
Yeah, he did do it.
So there we go.
Yeah. Although I do feel like Bangkok in Bangkok is not a great one, because obviously I thought of that years ago, but when I went to Bangkok, but I was like, well, there's not really any way to use this without suggesting that I bang cocks in Bangkok. And Bangkok is obviously famous for the lady boys. So I guess, it's just not very much of a stretch to say that he's talking about having sex with men, which is fine. No, I'm not judging. I ain't judging. I'm just saying that, he perhaps could have done it a little bit more clever than I bang cock in Bangkok.
Yeah, well,
yeah. Because I don't think he was trying to suggest that he's coming out of the closet.
This is area codes.
Yeah.
And it's featuring Nate Dogg.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, beloved Nate Dogg. I've got hoes in different area codes. Hoes.
It's excellent singing. Excellent singing, right?
It's my Nate Dogg impersonation.
Right. I like the bit where he goes, get your ass on the floor with your two left feet. It's real easy, just follow the beat. No, hang on, that's later on. But he's like, when I bust your ass, I'm going to continue to rock. Oh, fuck, I got to go back. But basically, I like the bit where he says, I'm going to pick up a rock. If I ain't got a weapon, I'm going to pick up a rock. And when I bust your ass, I'm going to continue to rock. That's him, right? In that Eminem song?
Right. Yeah. Get your ass on the floor with two left feet.
Yeah, that's after that. Yeah.
It's real simple, just follow the beat. Yeah, Nate Dogg.
I get more ass than a toilet seat.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah.
Lyrics, amazing.
Good stuff, yeah.
Sadly, he passed away from a stroke.
Yeah. Hell of a way to go, but if you're going to go doing what you love, right? Stroking.
So yeah, that's my contribution to the podcast.
Yeah.
So I do have a question.
Yeah.
Well, the listeners will be wondering why.
Yeah.
We are late.
Oh yeah, we are either depending on how you look at it, we're either 25 minutes late for the show, or we're 24 hours and 25 minutes late for the show. Depending on your, there's all technicalities, really.
Yeah.
The show just goes live when it goes live. Thanks to our 4 viewers, though.
Shout out to
you
them.
guys. And the 150 that'll tune in later. But yes, so why are we late?
Well, you tell me, what were you doing last night?
Well, you were late last night, so
I
was coming
really
around. Late. Yeah, I was coming around, and Guy was like,
so late I had to postpone it.
Yeah, he postponed it twice. So he's like, oh yeah, so coming around at 6 p.m. He's like, make it 6:30, and then he's like, how about 7? And then it was like, cool. Well, actually, I'm balls deep in my taxes, which are almost overdue. So as thrilling as this tax story is, I better keep doing that. So I was just doing my taxes, trying to figure out, what the damage was after COVID last year, because I don't even know what I earned in the 2020 financial year.
Can you reveal that now for the listeners?
Yeah, I can, but I can do so with
caveat.
No, just with shame.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
You
why
know,
not?
Well, just with shame because, like, I like to think I'm a big shot,
but
big
high
shot producer, high roller.
Yeah.
And so by the looks of it, I only just figured out my grand total for last year. It was about 50 grand, New Zealand 50 grand. But here's the thing about that: 15 grand of that was from the government for the wage subsidy. So I really actually only earned $35,000 in the 2020 financial year.
Yeah.
But as a bachelor with no debts, that's really fine for me. And then also, I wasn't working 40 hours a week like a fucking animal. I was just working.
You had half a year off.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like, cool. So I had heaps of time off. I worked, just a little bit. That's fine. I can live with that. As a debt-free bachelor, hasn't really made too much difference to me. I was thinking, I was like, man, shouldn't I be like feeling the pinch more? But I was just eating my smashed Avo for breakfast, and I was like, I don't know, why can I keep affording the smashed Avo? So I use the smashed Avo scale to figure out how poor I am.
Yeah.
If you can afford a smashed Avo whenever you want for breakfast, then you're doing fine.
And also, can you afford and if you have smashed Avo, can you afford an extra poached egg?
Yeah.
And if you can afford an extra poached egg, can you request to put a little lemon, drizzle a little lemon over the top?
They wouldn't charge you for the lemon, but
I guess not.
They might charge you for a bit of that.
Depends what time of the year.
That salty cheese.
Oh, yep.
The salty white cheese.
Oh, feta.
Feta. They'll charge you for that, I tell you.
50 grand could be worse. I'd say that a lot of people during COVID would be happy with that.
No, I mean, I can't complain too much. For a COVID year, it's actually not really that much less than I normally earn.
It's actually the
more
same
than
amount.
Yeah.
You go, it's actually slightly more, but it's still depressing.
Yeah. No, well, especially because, like every year I earn a bit more. So I'm always kind of building up. And then obviously during the 2020 financial year, it was a big step back. Plus I lost a bunch of clients that have gone out of business or changed their business models and so on.
Yeah.
So 2021, I'm sort of starting afresh in some areas. However, I'm off to a great start, right? Because 2 days from now, I'm shooting my commercial.
Yeah. Did you announce that at the last podcast?
Yeah, remember we sang A Whole New World?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so before I got the role, I told everybody what it was paying as well. Which is $6,000
So,
for the day.
let's just, this is the thing. Lots of people don't like to talk finances.
Yeah.
Here we will just freely talk about finances and how much we are making. I think it's good because it puts it in perspective.
Yeah, let's keep it real.
Of why we're not paying all our friends for the work they do. Because they go, oh, I listened to the podcast. I didn't know you're that hard up.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Don't worry about it. We'll let this one slide.
I will support you on Patreon. Patreon.com/Pigville.
If I'd known you're that hard up, I might have taken this seriously. Okay, so sorry.
That $1 a month actually contributes to my rent. Shout out Chuck Black on the live stream.
So you've got it in 2 days, you say, the New World commercial.
So I got my ad in what commercial?
The Whole New World commercial.
The commercial that is going to open up a whole new world for me.
That's why I said the Whole New World commercial.
Yes. Yes. So this commercial for this anonymous company
anonymous supermarket
is not tomorrow, but the next day.
Have you done a wardrobe fitting?
Yes, I've done a wardrobe fitting, and it's looking quite promising. It's not confirmed, but it's looking reasonably promising that they're actually going to use my costume from my audition because, maybe the listeners out there don't know that. There's lots of people who aren't, in the film biz. You might not necessarily know the ins and outs of how it works, but if you go to an audition, normally you show up wearing what you think they want to see the character wearing. So, you make an effort to look the part. So you show up, right? Now, if they decide that they like you and they want to use you, and then they decide they like your costume, they will actually pay you an extra fee on top of your fee to use your costume. So, and it hasn't been confirmed yet, but I feel like I've got a pretty good chance that they're actually going to use my original costume. So if that happens, I'll be getting an extra fee on top of my $6,000 for the day.
Do you know how much that is?
Nah, I can't remember, but I remember it happened with the ad I went that I went to Aussie with as well, the rap ad. And so they used my costume for that, which was the Wesley Pennington sweater vest.
I should have a commission on that.
Well, you didn't pay for it.
The costume.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't pay for the Wesley sweater vest.
Oh well, wait, didn't I?
You would know. You just applied for the funding to the film commission for the budget for the film.
Well, actually, what I was thinking is I did pay for a Wesley Pennington vest.
But
paid
that was for the pickups.
Pickup one, yeah.
The one that completely didn't match.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a completely different color with a different pattern. But
Yeah,
you're welcome to keep that one.
Well, I don't know where that's gone actually.
No, it all got binned eventually. It all got binned.
Okay, so maybe I don't deserve a commission for that.
No, absolutely not. You just deserve a commission for launching my acting career.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10% of everything I ever earn, ever.
Should now. That's a manager's agreement that a lot of people have with promising young actors. They say, yeah, look, it's just 10% forever from now on.
Yeah.
I gave you your break, kid. So yeah, that's cool. Well, I'll be looking forward to that. So you need to do some actual fucking intel for once on this New World commercial.
Well, I do intel all the time for the areas that are related to me, the producing related areas, right? So I'm like, oh, what crew is working on this, and are they doing a good job? What actors are working on this, and are they doing a good job? Who's producing this thing, and how are they doing it? You know, I that's all the types of intel I do all the time. And it's very useful for my producing career. The types of intel that I don't do, which I suspect is what you're talking about, is I don't walk up to the director of photography while he's trying to set up a light and frame a shot and go, oh, excuse me, mate, I was just wondering, what kind of camera are you packing there?
What you shooting on, mate?
Oh, is that the Alexa RE Mini Ursa Pro? With the Black Lantern, Black Magic.
The Green Lantern.
The Green Lantern Black Magic. You're shooting it raw. Oh. So you, don't hold your breath on me coming back and telling you what kind of camera they were using. But I'll keep an ear out. All right? I'll keep an ear out.
Yeah, I think you should look into that.
Yeah, completely irrelevant to me. I simply hire directors of photography with their gear, or hire directors of photography and give them a budget to hire their own gear. Completely irrelevant to me from a producing perspective, what they're shooting on. Only relevant to you, the director, and to the director of photography themselves.
What might be interesting is...
Hey, what kind of makeup you got there to the makeup artist?
It's a little bit different.
Oh, hey, is that a road boom pipe, is it? A boom pole, is it? Is that a road boom pole? Yeah. Hey, talk to the catering person. Hey, is that a high AC you're driving?
Think about it like this. You look at the final image, and if you like that final image, and your big ugly mug sitting front and center on it, you'll want to know how to replicate that image.
Yeah. Well, but the answer is with my beautiful face.
No, the answer
doesn't matter about the camera.
The answer is to find out the camera they're using, the lenses they're shooting on.
Yeah.
And probably the way they lit it. But, what might be quite hilarious is our director of photography friend Isaac Newcomb could potentially be working on that ad with you.
Why do you think that?
Well, because he does a lot of gaffering work at the moment on ads. So he's doing a lot of commercial work. So he's not doing it as the primary director of photographer. He's working with the director of photographer.
Working his way up.
As the gaffer on some of these, lots of the ads that are sort of through the thing. So it would just be hilarious if he was doing that while you were acting in that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that would be good. There is another thing, which is so I've had a big day today. Big busy producer day. First thing I had was in the morning I went to a large reputable ad agency who I've been chasing them down for a couple of months now to try and get some freelance producing work as an ad producer.
Yeah.
And they finally deigned to see me today, so I went along and had a meeting with them, at their place, at their office, and that was good. So now I'm on the radar.
Played them the Meridian energy
I-
ad that you produced?
I didn't play it for them, but I did obviously tell them about it and how excellently I produced it.
Yeah,
On budget, on schedule, and all the rest of it.
yeah.
So yes. So look, I feel like if I keep pursuing that, that could potentially lead somewhere.
Well,
And-
there's gold in them there hills.
Well, it would be very excellent if I could start producing regular, freelance commercials where they basically go, all right, so here's the budget, Harley. It's $100,000. Come back with a commercial.
You figure it out.
Yeah, you figure it out. Come back with a commercial. Obviously I'm using their director and all that type of thing. So
Yeah.
so in terms of the way it looks and the quality of the script and all those things, that's not my problem. But is it on schedule? Is it on budget? Is everybody happy? Are there any complaints? Is there any health and safety issues? So these are all the things that I'd be handling, and I'd be choosing, hopefully, like the crew and as well. So okay, cool. Well, actually, I do know a director of photography that might be great for this. He normally works as a gaffer, but
He's currently working as a gaffer on one of your other shoots.
Yeah,
But he can also be a DOP.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I went and did that. Then I went and had a recce at a cinema for some events I'm having there later in the year for the festival I work for. Then I had
What was the name of the cinema, can you say?
Rialto.
Oh, right.
Rialto.
Yeah.
So I was at the Rialto Cinema for an event I'm having there in October, doing a little recce and hobnobbing, and then I went and I met with a filmmaker who's got $25,000, a script and a dream. And so he's got 25 grand. He's got a 13-page script set.
Fucking piece of cake, mate.
But yeah, I know that's
And then you go set in the 1920s.
No.
With aliens and a time machine.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's not quite so easy.
As well as kids and animals.
Yeah.
But there is kids and animals.
Right.
Unfortunately, there is kids and animals. Well, one kid and one animal. And so it's a story. It's 25 grand. It's a 13-page script set mostly in the dream scenario. It is one location, but it could easily end up being 4 separate locations if you can't find that one all-encompassing location. But 3 of those 4 locations are just inside apartments. And one of them's inside a garden. So reasonably attainable. And yeah, 25 Gs, 13-minute film or 13-page film. And so I went and met with him because he's interested. He wants me to produce it for him. But of course, the issue is I always feel bad about these kind of like these independently funded productions that sometimes want me to produce, because I'm like, well, look, here's the thing. If I start working on this now, it's actually going to be heaps of work. I'm going to be calling in all my favors. All my friends are going to be working on it, but they're still not going to be working for industry rates.
No.
I'm going to be doing favors. My reputation is going to be on the line on this new director who hasn't really done that much before. So if he does a shitty job and all my friends are there for me, they're going to show up, they're going to do this thing, they're going to, well, that was really shit, and I'm not going to do jobs that Harley gets me anymore.
I'm sick of these, Harley. You keep bringing me
shitty
on these
jobs.
ones, Harley, and I'm sick of it.
These shitty, unpaying jobs, or low-paying jobs. And then, so basically my reputation is rolled up in the reputation of this director to see, if he does a decent job and keeps it on time and all those types of things, shoots, gets through the shooting quick enough, all that type of thing. So, how do you charge for that? As well as, obviously, I'd need to probably be on set for all 3 days. Well, he said 5 days. He was like, 5-day shoot. And I was like, well, let's call that 3, shall we?
Yeah.
Because I think it only needs 3. I think if it was you and me, we could do it in 2. But,
I was almost thinking 1 in my head.
No, I think 2 would
be
the right.
Oh, look, time is the most valuable thing on film set. So, 3 days is good.
I think 3. 5 is a bit more of a tough sell for the location, for the catering, for the cast, for the crew. Everybody, it's just a much tougher sell, and it's just more expensive. And so yeah. But the issue is, like, if you're the producer, how much do you charge for that? What's that worth? Well, if you were just to bill it an hourly rate that wasn't shit. Let's say you were billing at an hourly rate that was $50 an hour, right?
Yeah.
And that's not good and it's not bad, but it's passable. It's like it's like you can make a living that way.
Well, now you're sounding spoilt and rich, but go on.
What, $50 an hour?
Yeah.
You think that's too much?
Well, no, just in you saying it's not good, it's bad, but it's livable on.
Yeah. Well, it is if you're not working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, 40 hours a week. You can't be showing up to part-time, occasional jobs for $20 an hour.
It's true.
And expecting to make a fucking living. You end up on $35K a year. You end up making 35 grand in a year if you do that. So say you were to bill them at $50 an hour, right? You'd probably end up, using heaps of money. You want to like bill like I think you want to bill like $5,000 to produce a film. You go, all right, I'll produce it. I'll introduce you to all of these people. I'll do all of these things. I'll make sure everything's on schedule and on budget. I'll do the budget. I'll find the location. I'll handle the auditions and let you choose who you like. I'll get good actors along that I have existing relationships with that otherwise might not be interested in this unpaying thing. I'll get people to work for a quarter of the industry standard rates. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do all those things. What's that worth? It's like,
it's not worth 1/5 of the budget.
Well, that's kind of what I mean, like, right? How can you charge someone? You go, I'm going to be working on this for the next several months. So you go, well, I'm going to take $5,000 from your 25 grand. But if you take less than that, you're kind of like, well, you're just working on someone else's passion project.
The number in my head that popped into my head was $2,000,
right?
For the producer on that particular budget. That was just the number that popped into my head.
Well, see, the thing is, right? $2,000 before tax. That's like, maybe a week and a half.
For the love of the game, mate. For the love of the game.
A week and a half of just going to my normal jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you can't put filmmaking in a normal job.
Well, you can if you're a professional like me who literally works in film and TV full time.
I think that when it's something that you're producing yourself, you can't look at it any longer like a job. You have to look at it like, hopefully I'll get a little something for it, but really I'm producing
for the love of it,
for the love of the game.
Well, it would be good to have another IMDb credit.
Yeah,
and also I do take a lot of pleasure in finding paid work for my friends. I go, hey guys, look, I mean, it might not be quite industry standard rates, but it is a job.
Yeah, it's the same way I find pleasure in giving acting work to my friends for no money, but I still find pleasure in it. Hey, you may not get paid for this, but at least you get fucking acting something.
We're going to give you 6 exposures.
What else were you doing? What else were you doing this weekend?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's potentially on the horizon, but I also don't know if it'll really fit with my schedule, and I told him as much because he's got to have certain shoot dates and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, we'll see.
When are these shoot days?
Well, he was talking about initially the end of September or the beginning of October, which is terrible timing for me because that's exactly when the Show Me Shorts Film Festival kicks off on October 1st. Be there. There's a big opening night, ASB Waterfront Theatre. Get on down. There's going to be tickets available. In fact, I think the tickets might be on sale already for the ASB Waterfront Theatre. Big opening night kicking off October 1st in Auckland. And then I'm flat out with like 2 weeks worth of kind of events, and in the build up to that, the leading up sort of month and a half, 2 months before that, starting normally from the beginning of August, is lots of work associated with organising and orchestrating these things. So it's like, well, cool. Well, am I going to also at the same time be producing a short film? And the answer is no. But he said maybe the end of October could work. But the thing about that is I have been asked to act in a feature film of Defender Man, which was a skit that you've seen.
Loved
by
it.
Stephen Baker. It is a funny skit, and so he wants to do the feature film kind of version following that character. And he asked me if I would want to act in it, and I said yes. But he was talking about filming like starting around October 18th. So I finish October 14th from the film festival, and then 4 days later, I'm acting in a feature film for
got to do Defender
2
Man,
weeks
mate.
or whatever.
Got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do that one.
Yeah.
That I feel like that could be a real. You just never know. That could be the breakout hit.
The problem with it, the main problem with it, is just that the budget is extremely low. It's it's not lower than Older, but for example, it's lower than the short film.
Yes.
that I was just talking about, the 25 grand short film. It's lower than that. So and it's a feature. So it's a 5 year. I mean, I don't know, but it might be years before it actually comes out, if it ever comes out.
Yeah, I mean, there is a chance that it will never come out.
Mm.
That is a risk.
Yeah, although he does have a great Stephen Baker, his name is, and he's made some great films. Check out his smash hit. It's called A Love Story by Stephen Baker.
I was looking for that, the name of that the other day.
Yeah, A Love Story. Yeah, and then the sequel is called The Predicament, and I'm in The Predicament, but A Love Story is probably a better film than The Predicament. But they're both, they're both very well put together, and they both got finished quite quickly, and all that type of thing. So yeah, he wants to now do an extension of Defender Man. Now I'm gonna upload Defender Man. I've got Defender Man as a file. I haven't uploaded it to the Pigville Productions YouTube channel, but I'm gonna do that. So if you guys out there want to see it, make sure you go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Pigville and the number 2. And if you subscribe there, you'll get a notification, or go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/Guy and Harley, and I'll share it there when I get around to uploading it. I just need to do it. I just haven't done it yet. So yeah, so I'm not sure if it'll fit. Plus, of course, I'm going to Tokyo in 4 weeks.
Allegedly.
Well, I mean, if they're going to cancel it, they've left it extremely late to do so.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, 4 weeks is getting pretty close. For the Tokyo Olympics, I am representing New Zealand as a gymnast. I've been working on my splits, and that's why I'm going over there. So July 19th, I'm off. I'm all vaccinated. I've got all my accreditation. I've got my tickets. I know what hotel I'm staying at. It's all go. It's all happening. The only problem is I don't know how to do the job, but I'll figure that out when I get there. It's only the Olympics.
There's no need to be worried. It's live at the Olympics.
It's only live at the Olympics, and there's only hundreds of millions of people watching all around the world. It is kind of interesting that I got offered that job, and they were like, so they called me up, and they were like, is this Harley Neville? And I was like, yes. And I didn't apply for that job. They called me up. They were like, is this Harley Neville, the New Zealand's leading graphics operator?
And you were like...
And I was like, yep.
You're like, hang on. This isn't about the taxes, is it?
It's not about the taxes.
I'm getting on to those. I'm almost done.
So they were like, is this Harley Neville, New Zealand's leading graphics operator? And I was like, yeah, that's me, New Zealand's leading live broadcast graphics operator. I can't really think of anybody else that you would use for a job such as this. And they were like, cool, well, do you want to do this job? We can't find anybody in Japan. There's 140 million people over there. Can't find anybody to do it.
Can't find a qualified graphics operator over there.
Got to fly Harley Neville over from Auckland. Got to fly him over. So they were like, cool, would you like to come over and do this job? And I was like, yep, that sounds very cool. And they were like, well, hang on. This is the graphics program. Have you ever used that before? And I was like, nope. Never heard of it. Never used it. Literally never heard of it. Yeah. And they were like, you've got the job.
You're like, congratulations, you've got it. You nailed it. You nailed the interview. You're like, I've never heard of that program. In fact, it sounds like you are speaking Japanese to me when you say the name of that program.
Yeah.
That's how unfamiliar I am with that program.
Yeah.
And they go, congratulations, you've nailed this one. You've got the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Well, it does sound like a classic Harley Neville, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just coast on through, figure it out, and it'll all fall into place.
It'll be hilarious if there's like some giant botching of names and stuff through your incompetence and lack of knowledge around this key program that they asked if you knew anything about it. You said no.
Well, I didn't lie.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
So, they know what they're getting themselves in for.
But I did say to them, I was like, I was like, sweet as, I'm just going to watch a bunch of YouTube tutorials, obviously, right? Yeah. That's how anything gets done in this day and age. If you want to figure something out, straight to YouTube. Yeah. Now, it turns out that this graphics program, is a custom program that is not actually publicly available in most other places. So there's actually not any information about it on YouTube. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than not finding the answer on YouTube.
Yeah, so I emailed him back and I was like, oh, hey, I was like, so have you got any booklets or anything to kind of teach me anything about this?
You got a pamphlet
and
relate to this program?
He sent me through 2 attachments, and one of them just didn't open. It doesn't open on either of my computers. So I was like, And the other one is a bunch of text, but it doesn't have any images that actually kind of shows you what you're looking at. So I can't even picture it type thing, and I was like, So I emailed him and I was like, hey man, one of those attachments didn't open. Do you think, is there another way you could send that to me or something? And he was like, yeah, nah, you'll be right, man. You get 2 days training when you get there. And I was like, cool, sweet. Well, if you're not worried, I'm not worried either. And so basically I'm going to land, right, after a 14-hour journey,
Jet lagged.
wearing a mask the whole fucking time, throwing up into my mask and then eating it by the mouthful out of my mask.
Ears about to fall off.
Ears falling off, yeah. And then I'm going to land, and then I'm going to have 2 days to figure out this graphics program, and then in a live broadcast being broadcast to hundreds of millions of people the world over, I'm going to be
over 50 countries.
I'm going to be putting graphics on the literal Olympics.
Grandest stage of them all.
Classic. That's a classic. That's a classic Nevs right there.
Well, I'm more interested in this essential like prison that you're going to. Like the flight over into the prison where you can't do anything or go anywhere or talk or touch anybody.
Yeah.
And exactly what that means and how little you see based on that. On like, is it like essentially you're marched to your truck and marched back and then you just sit in your hotel room? Because that would be the absolute worst way to travel, across the world. Yeah. Like the most pointless travel across the world.
Yeah. Well, the money makes it not pointless, but yeah, like I'm curious as well to see like how strict it is, and like, am I really not going to be able to seduce any hot Japanese babes? Really?
Mate, you're not even allowed out of the thing.
Well, it does seem like
the compound. You're in the compound.
It does seem like a high risk behavior to be seducing Japanese babes during a pandemic, but I'd risk it. If they'll allow it, I'd risk it.
Teen Fetus on Twitch says sup cuties.
Sup Teen Fetus, I like that. That's good. I like that
Teen
name.
Fetus 2000.
Teen Fetus 2000. So
it's like Andre 3000, but it's a Teen Fetus and it's only 2000.
And then Easy Gunner 1234583 says, want to become famous? Buy followers here. And then he's got a spam link. So
bigfollows.com.
Yes, so thank you very much to all of our
Easy Gunner on the live stream, Twitch. Thank you.
Yes. So that's where we're at with that. But I do I've been sent a bunch of information about how it all works, and I'm still kind of reading through it, And on the one hand, I'm like, cool. So I'm definitely in a prison. I'm landing. I'm getting taken to the hotel, and then I go from the hotel to the thing. But the thing is, I do have a bubble, and that bubble is the people that I work with and so on. So I do have a bubble. I'm not completely in isolation. I'm not in solitude. So, hopefully my bubble is cool. I've just got a cool bubble.
Man, I can't wait for some photos of like your hotel room that looks onto nothing with the window out nowhere, and you're like, well, this is it, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we will do a podcast live from Tokyo.
Brilliant.
And then we'll also we'll probably do 2 live from Tokyo, and then 2 live from isolation when I get back as well.
So you're gone for 4 weeks?
I'm away for 34 days.
Or is that including the quarantine or no?
Yeah, including the quarantine. Right. So I'm away for 20 days, and then I land, and then there's a 14-day quarantine when I get back into New Zealand. And I have an insider in MIQ.
Yep.
And I won't give away my sources, but I have an insider at MIQ. And I was asking, I was like, so what's the fucking deal? What can you get into MIQ? What's going on? And this person was like, look, so what happens is if you say, for example, like so they do control, for example, your alcohol consumption in the in MIQ. So if I was like, hey guy, post me a bottle of, or drop me off a bottle of like spirits to the hotel that I'm staying at, what would happen is a guard would take that up to your room, this box, and then they'll go, can you open that in front of me? And so you have to open this box, and in there's going to be like fucking panties and dildos and whatever that he's not going to care about. But what he will care about is the bottle of spirits. And then he'll take that off you, take it downstairs and like register it down there. And I'm pretty sure that if it's spirits, they might just, well, actually, Richard Lambeth on the live stream would know more about it. But if it's spirits, I think you don't get them back until you leave. And if it's wine, they ration it to you, so you can't have like 5 bottles of wine in your room at once, which is bullshit, because I like 3 bottles of wine. That's 1 for every hole. Well, I've only got 2 holes, but like they shouldn't be limiting that. They shouldn't be, but they are. And so I was also asking, I was like, well, what about like cannabis? You know, like what's going on with that one? Do people like allow that in there? And this person was like, well, people get caught with it all the time. And so what they do is they like cover the smoke alarm, for example. But the smoke alarms in, you know, this particular hotel at least, if you cover it with a shower curtain, a shower cap or something, it has a sensor that knows that it's being covered and sets off the alarm. And he was saying that at one time he busted somebody who was they had been smoking weed in the room and it set off the fire alarm. So they cranked up the shower and, you know, got the steam going as much as possible, as hot as possible, and say, what? It's the shower.
It's the steam.
I was just having a shower.
It's steam.
I had the door open. I'm so silly. It's silly me. And they're like, yeah, well, why does it fucking? That's fine, but why does it smell like weed in here?
Yeah.
You know, why does it smell like steamed weed in here? So yeah. Also, Dry July is about to kick off, and I do it every year. I've done it for about 7 years or so now, and I've signed up, and it is my intention to do it this year as well. But it is going to be a bit of a half-assed one, in the sense that I'm only going to do it until I go to Japan, and then obviously I want to drink all the sake in Japan.
Right.
You know, that's the plan. Drink the
So
sake.
you're going to completely renege on the whole concept.
No, I'll do 19 days.
Yeah.
It'll be half a Dry July,
And then
it'll be a dry Jew.
Totally disregard
Yeah.
what you set out to do.
No,
and negate.
But that's why I also haven't promoted it. You know, like normally what I do is I would promote people to donate, because the money. So what it is you don't drink for the month of July, and then the money that you raise goes towards various charities that make life easier for people living with cancer. And so every year I do this, and so I what was I saying about that?
You do dry July, but you're not advertising it this
Oh,
time.
yeah, so I'm not advertising it because basically I know that I'm only going to do half of it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I didn't want to be like, hey everybody on Facebook, sponsor me for Dry July, and then be like, hey everybody on Facebook, I'm drinking all the sake in Japan.
And I did that for just because I felt like it.
Yeah.
To completely disrespect the intention and integrity of this Dry July thing I'm doing.
So 19 days. I'll just do 19 days of Dry July.
Well, the reason that the podcast wasn't happening last night, apart from you being balls deep in your taxes, is that I was in the process of finishing Glimpses. No. Well, not Glimpses, Stay at Home. So I was actually in the grade with our colour grader working on Stay at Home, the short film that I filmed on lockdown.
Technically, we did film it.
Well, we did.
I
film
was
it.
in a scene.
You turned in one of your worst.
I did
you
turn
turned
in
the worst performance you've ever delivered, and then I edited it and it looked fine, but I had to cut it out anyway just for timing purposes.
Yeah.
So not because it was the worst performance you've ever done in your entire life, which it was.
Yeah.
And this I'm going back all the way to when you were 16. When I say that.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because when I edited it together, it was absolutely fine.
I knew it'd be fine.
It just took a very long time for me to edit because of all the bad performance.
You got time. You're on lockdown.
I wasn't on lockdown then. I wasn't on lockdown when I was editing it.
Lockdown. He's in lockdown. It's fine.
So anyway, ultimately you had to be removed, but I kind of removed everyone from it.
Yeah.
And it's really just become one character. And so that grade has just been finished. The score has just been finished, and I'm now sort of waiting for the mix, the sound mix to be finalized. But one of the things that happens when you get close to finishing a film is that it unfinishes itself. And this happens over and over. And this is one of my least favorite parts of post-production and finalizing a film, is that essentially you think you're all done with everything, and then you discover something that makes you not done and have to repeat a bunch of shit. And in this case, I noticed that one of the visual effects wasn't sitting in the film quite properly, and I also noticed that we'd pushed something too far in the grade. So essentially, we'd slaved away till the end of the day to finalize this color grade that we'd been working on for literally maybe half a year on and off. And we were like, God, so good to be done. Awesome, high fives all around. And then you sit down and you watch it and you go, hang on a second, it's not done. And that is really one of the worst parts of filmmaking, is the unfinishing of things. When you think you're there, you've done all the things you need to do, and you realize that somehow a new thing has emerged, has popped up through all the done things, and gone, hello, I'm not actually fucking done, so fucking get back in here and do that. So that's we're now going to have to do that. So it's not actually done, but I think probably the version that I have now will be able to be submitted to some upcoming festivals. Will it Show Me Shorts variety?
Good. So it'll be done before July 1st, which is the.
Is it July 1st?
Yeah, mate. July 1st is the final deadline for Show Me Shorts Film Festival. So if any filmmakers out there want to submit their films, July 1st, get out there and submit it. Go to showmeshorts.co.nz and you can submit your films there. New Zealand's biggest and best short film festival, and if you win an award in that festival, it is Oscar accredited, so you can then submit to the
Oscars.
To the Oscars.
So Stay at Home could wind up through a series of events being submitted for an Oscar Best Short Film in 2020. Well, I suppose it'll be 2021. Still, the next Oscars is, I'm assuming, at the end of this year, or maybe it's the beginning of next year.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't submit for this year's Oscars, but I don't know.
But anyway, it all makes sense that it will both get into Show Me Shorts and become Oscar accredited, and then be submitted for the Oscars, and then be nominated for an Oscar. I feel like all of these things are realistic goals for the film.
Well,
so yeah.
I'm speaking broadly here, not about this specific festival, but I do have a bit of a tip, a bit of insider information for filmmakers, which is that festivals this year, 2021, if you submit, you actually probably have a better chance than normal of getting in. And the reason why is because for all of lockdown in 2020, people often couldn't film, or they had to do animations, or they had to do, little films of, say, two people in one house,
they
or
had
whatever.
To shoot like a horror film in one house with no crew.
With no crew, yeah.
And so because of the limitations of those,
there's less of them around, which means that if you have a film out there and you're submitting it to a film festival, you probably actually have a slightly, I don't think it'll be a huge difference, but I do believe you have a slightly higher than normal chance of getting in this year to festivals because there was less production last year. Makes sense. That's what we call on this show a COVID ladder.
Yep. So
chaos is not a pit; it's a ladder. And COVID is chaos. So where are the ladders? That's a COVID ladder.
So Stay at Home will be getting into that festival, and Glimpses will be getting into the New Zealand Film Festival, which
will be submitted to it, or will be accepted into it.
Both.
Oh, you're just using the power of positivity here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
And because of the COVID ladder.
Right. Yeah.
And also because they're great films.
The NZIFF, are they still open for submissions at the moment?
They are. They're open.
Until when?
I think July the 8th.
That's the New Zealand International Film Festival. And
Yeah.
do you think that Glimpses will be ready for that by July 8th?
Yes. So I have finished the colour grade for that. I've got my man Sam Wheeler is actually right now working on some title graphics for it.
Shout out Sam Wheeler.
And Donna Kavanagh
Yep.
is working on the music score, which hopefully she'll be turning in her latest version around the 1st of July. And I do have a mix, a rough mix. So no matter what, I can now submit a close to finished version for that, and a close to finished version of Stay at Home. Like, not a real rough, like, actually nothing's in it and it's all missing. It's like, well, actually almost it's all put together. So
yeah.
So I will be doing that. And it will be, unfortunately, Older was not accepted into the New Zealand Film Festival, despite there only being 5 New Zealand films in the New Zealand Film Festival. And I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, unfortunately, was not accepted into the New Zealand Film Festival, despite there only being 3 New Zealand films in the New Zealand Film Festival that year. And
No Caller ID.
No Caller ID was not successful in getting into the New Zealand Film Festival.
Despite winning awards and getting best short film at a international film festival, despite having a long festival run,
illustrious,
all around the world, despite getting a deal with TVNZ On Demand to play for a year on TVNZ On Demand. Couldn't get in. No, it could not get into the New Zealand International Film Festival.
They did not deign it fit for consumption. Sadly,
I'm starting to suspect a conspiracy.
Well, I'm seeing a conspiracy because it can't be anything to do with our talent.
No, obviously not.
And it can't be anything to do with the quality of the films and what we're delivering.
Well, not if other festivals and other people the world around are interested.
Multi-award-winning films, really. So you have to point the blame at someone, and you can't look inwards at yourself. You have to look outwards.
You've always got to blame.
You always look outwards.
Yeah.
Never be self-reflective. Never reflect upon your own shortcomings. Look at the shortcomings and the nearsightedness of others. And in this case, the New Zealand Film Festival has been very nearsighted.
Do you think the New Zealand Film Festival would be interested in...
Be interested in hearing this podcast?
Well, don't worry, mate. There's nobody listening to this podcast. Do you think that Immy the Vegan is worth submitting to the International Film Festival?
I don't.
Because it wouldn't get in, or because it's already out?
Well, both of those things would prohibit. But probably both of those things would cause issues. Certainly it being already out would be a big one.
Yeah.
I think the frustrating thing for me is, okay, so you spend a bunch of money trying to get into festivals over the next 6 months. And then they all say no. And you go, cool, so my film could have been out online for half a year.
Yeah.
But I just held off and paid money to it. But there needs to be a quicker turnaround, a quicker rejection turnaround.
Yeah, but the issue is, how do you do that? Because if you're running a film festival, how can you very quickly reject everybody? Like, I guess what they could do, actually, what they could do is, if your film gets like red flagged, I'm not talking about a specific festival here. I'm talking about festivals in general. But if your film were to get red flagged as being like obviously rejected, currently the formula is, and this is as far as I'm aware, like pretty much all film festivals, what happens is you submit and they go, cool, well the deadline is this date, and then you submit before that date, and the announcement date is this date, and then on the announcement date they announce who's gotten in, and if you are not announced, well, you did not get in. And maybe you get a rejection letter a little bit beforehand, maybe, I'm not sure. But I guess what they could do maybe is they could be like, well, as soon as you're rejected officially, then they let you know. It's like automated, like, sorry, you have not been accepted. Maybe they do that. I'm not really sure. I'm not a programmer, but...
Yeah, no, well, really, it's like, but they're sitting on your rejection, maybe for half a year, and then just go, surprise, you didn't get in, and it's like, oh man, I would have loved to have known that a bit earlier. Yeah, for sure. Seeing as you knew that, 6 months ago,
but then so they do need to obviously
after the first 5 minutes of watching this thing,
after the first 5 minutes
after switching this off
of my 37-minute experimental low budget film, you watch 5 minutes, you should have just told me.
So I just feel it's a quicker turnaround time. Although I have been bombarded by festivals, discounted fees, this cheap fees, that.
Well, I do think that might be a COVID ladder, which is that there are a bunch of festivals that are probably struggling after COVID.
Oh, really struggling?
So they need content, and that's what I was saying before, right? There's less content out there, so your content is at a higher premium now. So potentially you can actually get a bunch of fee waivers and get a bunch of discounts and actually get accepted into a bunch of festivals.
And here's the thing, I'm all for people approaching me to go, would love to have you submit for the thing. And it's like, well, if you'd love it, then don't charge me a fucking fee, cunt.
Well, that's what I always say to them
I say that too, and then so I think I've had like maybe 4 that have all said that. Yeah. And every single time I'm like, absolutely, would love to, if you'd just be willing to waive the fee. And then it's like, unfortunately, we can't waive the fee. Oh, fuck off, you can't waive the fee. Well, everyone can waive the fee. But there's the fee waiver.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
It's to waive the fee.
That's what they call it.
The code. You put in the code, you waive the fee. And it's like, I just, obviously they're reaching out because they need to make money from these fees that they won't waive. Yeah. But it's all just a bit insincere because it's like, hey, where were you in 2019, Kent?
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have a time of day to reach out to me now, but suddenly you want a fucking fee.
The thing is that is true when they're cold calling you, which is what they're doing with you.
Yes.
They're sending a cold call email out to your list.
It's not we have
no.
any established relationship
No.
with these or have been in these festivals or anything.
That being said, when you do get into a festival, one of the things that I've noticed is if you are
When we get into the New Zealand Film Festival.
good at approaching the right people and so on, and if you've made a good film, you can get your fees waived by asking them. So, for example, Emmy the Vegan got its fees waived for the Vegan Film Festival, and then it went on to win the best film, best fiction, best lifestyle feature. They called it best lifestyle feature film, and the audience favorite.
My lifestyle determines my death style.
Ooh. And so then...
Metallica.
Ooh, I didn't expect you to be quoting Metallica. And then so that fee got waived. But the reason why it got waived was because they emailed us after seeing it somewhere online and said, hey, we'd love it if you submit it to this. And then I replied, well, we'd love to be in your thing, but, can you please do a fee waiver, and we'll definitely do it. So they gave us a fee waiver because they had specifically heard about us and contacted us specifically, as opposed to the cold call where they're like, we hear you're a filmmaker. Dear insert filmmaker's name here.
Yeah.
We heard that you made a insert film here, and we were wondering if you would like to submit to our film. And then they're basically they're just farming out and just looking for, they're just trying to get money to come in. To be fair though, like film festivals do need that submission fee.
Of course.
Because it's part of the business model is that, it's not free to make people watch all of these films. A film festival might get thousands of submissions, and some poor souls need to sit there and watch these films hour after hour, day after day, and give them a fair and honest chance. And you don't want it to be just anybody, so it's somebody who's in some way sort of qualified and interested in this. And so there is certain costs and time and all that sort of thing associated with it, and so it makes sense that there should be submission fees for film festivals and that they can't waive everybody. But I do think it's a bit cheeky when they message you and be like, hey, we'd love to have your film. and when that's like me saying, like, me being a car salesman and be like, hey, I'd love to sell you a car. Yeah, well, cool. Good for fucking you.
Yeah.
Obviously.
How about a fee waiver?
Yeah, how about a car fee waiver? You just give me a car.
Yeah.
If you'd love to sell me a car, then let's just forget about the money. Just give me the car. Because you'd love it.
You'd love it.
It's good for you.
You've reached out to me.
It's a good thing for you.
You've reached out to me.
Money's just a number. It's a made up. It's a human construct, right?
Yeah. So one of the other things that I should mention is I did watch the new Wrong Turn last night.
Ah, yeah. Right Turn.
Well, this is how you know a series franchise has gone on too long, because this is true across the board, is when they do so many sequels, they stop putting the number of the sequel, and not only do they stop calling it the number of the sequel, they just call it the same name as the name of the first fucking film in the series of films before all the sequels.
Yeah. So it's essentially like a remake.
So Rocky, and then the sixth one is Rocky Balboa.
Right.
In this case, it's Wrong Turn. The first one was just called Wrong Turn. It's actually quite confusing. If you were to go, I'd like to watch Wrong Turn.
Yeah, they go,
well, the remake or the original. But it's not a remake.
No.
It's literally just
a sequel.
It's just a sequel, really.
Yeah.
It's not really connected in any way. Like, it's connected in the sense that, essentially the story is, there's a bunch of bad people living out in the woods.
Yeah.
And if you go up there, you'll get got by them. And they do take a sort of a slightly different twist with this one and do a couple of interesting things. It's one of those ones, it's always the same. It's one of those ones where it starts off good, and then the more you find out, the more disappointment there is at what you found out. The explanation is like, oh, what? That's it? Some good gore in it, some good violence, a couple of creative deaths. Matthew Modine is in it, who is Private Joker in Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
So
how tall are you? 5'8"? 5'8"? I didn't know they stack shit that high.
Is
that actually in it?
Yeah.
And does he actually say it to Private Joker?
No, not. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I think he does say something along the lines of, because Private Joker does an impersonation after the sergeant's been shouting at him, and he goes, "Is that you, John Wayne? Is this me?" Kind of mocking the sergeant, and the sergeant goes up to him and he's like, "God damn it, Private, I will pull out your eyeballs and skull fuck you," or something like that. There's some great lines in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's another one where he's like, "Hey, you're the kind of person that'll fuck a man and won't even give him the courtesy of a reach around." Fuck a man in the ass and won't even give the courtesy of a reach around.
And that is rude.
That is rude.
Like, whenever I fuck a man,
You give him a reach around.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the bare minimum, really, isn't it?
It's courtesy.
Yeah.
It's like a fee waiver.
Yeah.
It's a courtesy
It's
thing.
a courtesy, yeah.
If you're going to approach someone.
Yeah.
So yeah, a brilliant film, Full Metal Jacket. Stanley Kubrick, one of the greats. Just good at everything.
Well, I mean, Full Metal Jacket was good. Did he do Apocalypse Now?
No,
Oh, good, because that wasn't very good.
that's Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, right.
Mm.
Or he's a Francis, like, fucking Quitella. And and what's his name?
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, The Shining.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, that was pretty good too. That was pretty good. I'll give him that.
2001?
I'll give him The Shining. No good.
No good.
Rubbish.
2001: A Space Odyssey. No good.
Well, I didn't watch the original, but I did see the Netflix series, and I was very unimpressed.
Yeah, they are not connected.
Yeah, danger, Will Robinson.
They are not connected at all.
That's
That's Lost in Space.
And so, what else has this guy done? He's new.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Okay, now I wasn't really feeling that. I
You
was
feeling Nicole Kidman?
well, I was enjoying Tom Cruise's naked butt.
Yep.
But other than that, there wasn't too much in it. It was just too slow and arty. What else we got?
We also have Spartacus.
The TV series
No,
starring Mike Edward.
the original film starring
right.
Kirk Douglas.
Right. I didn't
I'm Spartacus.
Yeah, I
He
didn't-
was that was the
Yeah.
famous. He also did Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah, the Marvel film,
How I
Doctor Strangelove.
and what else?
Written by Robert C. Cargill.
There's another. You'll be his mate, Robert C. Cargill.
Yeah.
I liked an inspiring tweet he wrote
Yeah.
the other day.
How many followers has he got, Robert C. Cargill?
Oh, he's got quite a few.
Yeah, I
He-
should have got a selfie with him and then tagged him on Insta and Twitter.
Yeah, we'll look it up right now. I'm going to read out his quote as well. While we're here, we'll get into the old segment, the old favorite.
This is guys. This was always if you are a legacy listener of the Guy and Harley podcast, you will know that in the old days we did actually have probably more segments. And one of the
We
segments
probably made it's C. Robert Cargill.
more effort.
We called him Robert C. Cargill.
Oh, that's what I meant. He's my mate,
C. Robert Cargill, your best friend.
my best mate. We did hang out on Hollywood Boulevard the night of Doctor Strange coming out, or the day after.
Before he
or-
blew up.
No, well, I mean, it was kind of, he had already written a Hollywood fucking blockbuster that was.
But they didn't know how it was going to turn out.
But all of Hollywood Boulevard was shut down. Like, it was obviously quite a big deal. They literally shut down all of Hollywood Boulevard, and I was hanging out for some reason with the writer of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Me, Harley Neville from South Dunedin.
Yeah.
Why? It just doesn't make sense. It's just classic Nevs.
I'm scrolling through he did a brilliant one. I liked it. I
Well-
can probably look at what I liked. How many subscribers does he have? He has.
67,000 followers.
He's doing all right.
Followed by Bernie Rao of Killer Sofa fame. Cool.
That's not going to tell me. Yeah, I can't find the quote. It was something to do with, like, basically if you write, like, 2 pages now, and you do that every day,
Yeah.
you'll have written a screenplay by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Or you'll be like 2/3 of the way through a novel.
Yeah.
Think about that. You're this close.
Mm-hmm.
Was basically the deal.
Yeah. I should probably tweet at him sometime.
Yeah, you should.
And be like, yo, see, Robs, check out Older.
Yeah.
This is the film that I was
You should.
there to sell when
Why
I
the fuck-
met you.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Yeah. Yeah, well, he's my boy. He's my boy. You never know, he might retweet me.
Yeah, well, I can't find that quote, so I just guessed it. Probably right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the gist of it.
Yeah.
You get started, hurry up. What you do today will, have a great effect tomorrow, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do stuff today, reap the rewards, reap what you sow, harvesting, blah, blah. You get the gist of it.
Harvesting?
You got to harvest what the seeds you sow yesterday if you want to get the harvest.
Human harvesting.
Yeah, so.
Blah, blah, blah. Human harvesting. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. Now, I did today spend $400 on shoes
Yeah.
at the shoe shop.
Yeah.
Because the girl behind the counter was
Moderately friendly towards you.
Friendly towards me and pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went in just browsing.
Yeah.
You came out with a $400 pair of shoes you didn't need.
Yeah.
Because the girl was moderately attractive and paid some degree of attention to you.
She was very attractive.
She upsold you.
She was very attractive.
Yeah.
And she paid a moderate amount of attention to me.
Yeah. She was mildly polite to you.
Yeah. And I was like, so I was looking at the shoes and I was like, do you come with the shoes? And she was like, oh, you.
I did, witness some blatant, I guess, sexism or whatever.
Whatever.
Of that.
Whatever that shit is.
Well, of the kind that you literally just referred to, where someone was like, to a waitress walking past, like it's some old guy, like, 60-something. And he's like, are you ticklish? And I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
God. And she was like, what?
Did he then proceed to touch her?
And he was like, and no, he didn't.
Oh. That's good.
And then he was like, oh, nah, I just joking. Or because she actually legitimately didn't get it. She was just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What was he talking about? What does he mean, are you ticklish?
Well, I think the idea is because she was holding something.
Oh, that if
he would tickle her, she would throw it off.
Yeah. So it wasn't necessarily like sexual harassment. It was just shitty old people jokes.
Well, isn't that sexual harassment, touching a female?
But he didn't touch her.
Well, he didn't. He suggested that he would.
He suggested that now would be a bad time to tickle her because she's holding all of this stuff.
Okay.
But I
can see what jokes you'd be making in the workplace.
So what I'm saying is it's completely fine. No, but obviously the reason why it might be sexist would be because he wouldn't say it if it was a man.
Of course he wouldn't say it if it was a man.
You wouldn't go, are you ticklish?
The implication being he wants to grope her.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he doesn't want to tickle me.
You guy.
I should have got up and with my thing and gone,
I'm ticklish.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Creepy old perv. But look, guy, I think you got to be careful of the beds that you make because you're going to have to sleep in them eventually.
Yeah.
And one day you will be that 60-year-old man asking the waitress if she's ticklish, and people will be judging you.
Yeah, of course they will be.
And yet you're not actually going to touch her.
No, I just want to be moderately sexually inappropriate.
But tickling is not sexually inappropriate. You're just it's because she's holding all the things.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that thing? Have you seen Tickled?
No, I didn't watch it. Yeah, I did not watch that one.
You're gonna learn some things.
But I did. So I went in there, right, and I bought these shoes. New Doc Martens. I'm wearing them right now as we speak, and I'm quite happy with my purchase. I don't buy shoes very often, so I didn't really feel bad about all the money spent. And they will last me for an extremely long time. And so I'm pretty happy with them. They also add an extra inch or two to my height probably. So then my new date shoes, I'll be wearing those for sure whenever I go out on a date once every 6 months or so.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but one thing did happen, which was that she was a lot younger than me, obviously.
Obviously.
Given my advanced years. And she was like, she used some new lingo. She was so we were talking about the polish. Basically, like there's a sort of a.
That she was trying to upsell you on some fucking polish for your Doc Martens.
That's why it cost $400 because the boots were $330, but then I had to buy the special Doc Marten socks and the special Doc Marten polish.
Fucking hell.
she really saw you coming, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And so she we're talking about this polish. It's not a polish. It's more like a moisturizing thing that it's a boot moisturizer.
Yeah.
I really needed it.
Yeah.
And so
It's worse than a polish.
yeah,
It does literally nothing.
yeah, it's a boot moisturizer. But she was like, yeah. So basically, like, for the first week and a half or so, you should use this polish, is what she was saying. But she was like, yeah, so just like go ham with the polish.
Mm.
And I was like, ham? Go ham with the polish.
Really? You didn't pick that one?
Well,
pick up on that?
Obviously, I deduced what she meant, but have you ever heard anybody say go ham on something?
Yes. And not only that, I've even said it on this podcast.
Go ham on something.
Yeah.
What does it even mean? I was like,
Hard as a motherfucker.
Is that because I was like, so I said to her, I was like, ham, and she was like, yeah, ham, it's a thing. And I was like, well, I mean, obviously it means hard as something, and I was like, what, and she was like, I don't know, but I've just heard it and I've said it. It's definitely a thing. But she didn't know what it was
funny
either.
That she didn't know.
She
what
literally
it was.
didn't know what it
because,
stood for.
to be honest, you shouldn't be saying that
if you don't know what it means.
Well, no, it's more to customers in a shoe store because that is actually the extension of that.
Yeah.
Ham is hard as a motherfucker.
Right.
So you go ham. I went ham on him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes a lot. I was like, clearly this stands for HA something, and I was like, hard as what? And I didn't really get it. So. And I was like,
brilliant. All of that is brilliant. And she's so dumb. She's like, I don't know. I just use it. It's definitely a thing.
It's definitely a thing.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah. Buy these shoes, old man.
Just don't grill me on my lingo.
I was like, I'm ham right now.
You go, what's ham mean? She goes, I don't know. You go, good, because I'm ham right now. I'm about to go ham on myself after talking to you.
Yeah. Well, I did give her my.
Oh God!
I did give her my card.
Yeah,
I'm
a producer, baby.
I'm a producer.
Welcome to the casting couch. Oh God! You almost Weinsteined her.
No,
you Weinstein and dined her.
Well, only if I buy her dinner, then I Weinstein and dine her.
Oh no! I should probably not make that joke.
Well,
I was gonna, Weinstein and dined her.
Yeah. It wouldn't be the first off-color joke that that we had on this podcast in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
We lost a viewer.
Yeah, that was over that one probably.
Yeah, the Weinstein. But yeah, so that's good. I'm now $400 down. I did give her my card though. She said that she studied film at uni.
Yeah. Of course.
Or she plans on studying film when she starts uni or something like that. Whatever it was. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
No, she said she had finished studying at uni. She studied film, and then she. So I was like, well, cool. Well, because we had been talking about film festivals and events that were happening nearby to the shoe shop, and so I was like, cool. Well, here's my card. You send me a message if you want to come along to one of these events sometime. No message just yet, but it has only been a few hours. She might. You never know. They say that God helps those who help themselves, and I am God, and I'm helping myself.
I am a god.
Yeah.
Ham.
Yeah. So I hadn't heard that one.
Neither had she. The fucking
evidently.
Us. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But she was a very good-looking lady, and I did.
She doesn't need to know the meaning of the words she uses because she's good-looking.
Hey, she seemed smart and good-looking, and I didn't know what ham was either. So
okay.
And I'd just like to point out that actually I did tell them to look up the podcast. It was her and the other lady from the shop, also very attractive.
She's the one that
she's
stopped.
listening.
She's the one. She was watching. She was listening.
Yeah, and then she was like,
and she was like, oh.
And then she was like, oh no. Harley likes the other one. And then she left. She was gutted. She was heartbroken. And so I did actually tell them to check out the Guy and Harley podcast. So in all seriousness, if you guys are listening, please don't take offense. Please don't. It was lovely to meet you. Thank you for selling me those shoes. They're very good shoes.
$400.
It's $400. They're very good shoes. They're good shacks.
Wonder what the commission on those plus the shoe polish and shit. Is
I
that a
don't-
good day?
I don't know if they actually get a commission
Of course you do.
anymore. I think that's I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
There's-
I think they get paid minimum wage and they stand there and that's what they do.
My issue, though, was, because they always talk about this in retail, because I worked in retail for a couple of years
Spicy wine.
here and there, both at a video store and also at a leather store, selling various
That's right. I forgot that you worked
various
at
types
Leather
of motorcycles and leather jackets and
Yeah.
bondage gear.
Direct.
Anything, anything leather.
Wasn't there like a?
There was no bondage gear, but
There-
there was some whips there.
It's if it's a whip in a leather store, guy, it's bondage gear.
Oh, well, I guess
The
so.
fuck else are they selling it
Well,
for?
they're
What,
not-
you think they're going to be whipping the fucking?
Well, yeah,
what are they going to?
you're whipping
they're
people.
rounding up the sheep. You know what I mean? Like, what are they? What are they
Okay,
whipping?
you're whipping it, but you're not tying anyone up.
Oh, so it's just slavery. Like, get to work.
Well,
whip.
yeah,
Build the
exact-
pyramids.
Yes.
Whip.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not it's not bondage though. It's not sexual.
No. Well, I'm pretty sure it was, but
Yeah, no, it definitely was. It definitely was.
but yeah, you wouldn't say bondage as
Yeah.
such. Anyway, I worked at the store, and they're always talking about upselling, and
Yeah.
I did get
I seem to recall that one of our friends.
I did get a commission on that.
Seduced your boss.
Yeah, seduced my
store,
boss, and
and-
then hooked up with her, and then dated her for a while, and then decided to toss her aside.
Yeah.
And then
bad news for you at
And then
work.
here I was trying to pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
Made it very awkward.
As I recall.
What's Nick doing? Where's Nick at? Why won't Nick return my calls?
Yeah.
Oh, look, I don't know. Keep me out of it.
Yeah. Keep me
I
out
just
of it.
work here, lady.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. It was funny because at the time she was an old lady, approximately 38, approximately the age that we are now. But
That's 100% true.
they
That's
seemed-
exactly what she
They
was.
seemed so old back then.
Yeah. They did. I mean, we were just the age
Literally
of
22.
Well,
21,
so
22.
if you want to picture this dynamic,
Yeah.
they were the age that attractive woman was that upsold you on the Doc Martens,
Well, yeah.
and she's looking at you.
You mean we were the age that the attractive woman was?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she is now the age of us back then,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we are now the age
Of
of,
the-
those
Of
older
the,
women
of the lecherous older women.
that we looked down upon
Yeah.
for being old
Yeah.
and not attractive.
Well, I mean, they were
Attractive.
They were attractive older women. for sure.
Attractive, yeah, no,
Yeah.
but like somehow less
But
than,
definitely older. Yeah.
and less than because of the age thing.
Right. Well, I mean, you speak for yourself. You and your mate. You and our dear mate Nick. I mean, I personally, I had nothing to do with it. I was keeping well clear of that.
Well, I remember
That whole situation.
I remember, it was like, "What's Facebook? What are you doing? What's this Facebook?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh Jesus!"
Yeah. Well, that's us now. The lonely.
And now we're like,
old
and we're like, "What is this?
lecherous.
What is this?" Speak for yourself. What is this TikTok y'all's on about?
Yeah.
What y'all's doing on this TikTok?
Yeah.
Is that a dating thing?
Yeah. Well, it can be. Anything's a dating thing if you try hard enough.
So yeah. Anyway, I do remember that. So I worked at the store, and they're always talking about upselling, and I was just like, why do I fucking care? Why do I care about an extra $20 to do I really want to kiss this customer's ass for an extra 20 minutes
To make him buy this expensive whip, which you're going to get whipped on the ass with.
to make $20?
Yeah.
Like, it's just not
But
worth
you don't
it.
even get the $20. The shop gets the $20.
No,
right?
you get commission.
Oh.
You do get commission, and it is still a thing.
Yeah.
So she would have got $20 off them Doc Martens.
she'll be gutted because basically I went in there, I tried them on, and chatted to her for a little while.
Mm.
She was lovely, and then I left and I went to my meeting, and then I sort of thought about the boots, and I was like, all right, well, I think I'm going to buy them. So I went back, and unfortunately she was on her break out the back, and so the other lady served me. Now,
She
look,
got the commission.
the other lady was lovely too, but shout out if you're listening, but.
Or did you give her your card as well?
No, but I told her to check out the Guy and Harley podcast.
Ah, okay.
You see, so I told one of them to check out the Guy and Harley podcast, and the other one I gave my card.
Right.
Yeah. And so yeah, I didn't actually buy them off the one that I originally, you know, chatted to.
I always
So
wonder
she
about this
may have missed
sort
out
of
on the
commission
commission.
poaching that goes on,
Yeah.
because that actually does happen. Like this whole, I'm going to go away and think about it, means I'm fucking right off. But sometimes they really do go away and think
Yeah.
about it and come back. But after that, you're out the back,
Yeah.
having a smoke, pissed off that you
Yeah.
didn't close the
You
deal.
wasted time talking to this creepy
Old man.
old guy.
And
Creepy bald old. He had to take his
and you were-
gross card,
you
all
were-
covered in COVID.
You invested 20 minutes laughing at his stupid dad jokes.
Yeah.
And pretending that he was entertaining, and you're having
Yeah.
a smoke puffing out the back, and then you hear just the ching of the register, and you hear Harley going, "Yep, that's me.
Check out my podcast.
I'm Harley."
It's called the Guy and Harley podcast.
And then she's just like out the back, like, "Fuck,
Fuck.
I fucking lost the money mark."
Yeah, yeah. Well, I do wonder. if she missed out on commission because of that.
Yeah.
It's a terrible shame. Well, if she's listening, I want her to know that I would but buy her a drink or something like that, which would make up for that commission if she would just send me a message. No problem.
If you're listening, send a message right now.
Or just whenever you're comfortable. I mean, I'm not needy.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of being old, I went down to Wellington
And
recently.
needy, yeah.
And being old and needy, I went down to Wellington recently, and I had a screening of films in a bar.
Yep.
And I was hanging out with my dear friend Tommy Schwela. Shout out to Tommy. Also shout out to Guy McDougall, writer of Feeder, the very excellent short film about a muse, how to get the muse.
Yeah.
Shout out to both of them. I caught up with both of them, and I was. I was sort of talking to Tommy about, we're talking about getting up early for work and so on, and one of the bartenders or bar staff was there, and she was an attractive blonde woman, and we were chatting away, and then she was like, well, what time do you get up? To me, and I was like, 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and she was like, well, how do you do that? And I was like, set an alarm. And then she was like, well, I thought that once you're over 25, you basically, you got no choice. You just get up at 6 a.m. And I was like,
Is she under 25?
well, evidently, I guess.
Right.
And I was like, well, how the fuck does she know I'm over 25?
Yeah.
It's
almost like she assumed that you were in your 60s.
Yeah, and then backpedaled to 25. Yeah.
Because, old people do sleep less. That's true.
Mm.
And especially with really old people get up very early.
Yeah.
And so that's what she thought you were.
Do you know why old people get up early, though? Look, on the one hand, it could be that they need less sleep.
Yeah.
But to be
'Cause
honest,
their bodies are not rejuvenating themselves anymore.
But I
They're
don't know.
just
if
slowly
that's
wasting away.
Well, that might be true, but I kind of feel like actually the thing is that old people just go to bed way earlier. Like if I went to bed at 8 p.m., that's if you get up at 6 a.m., that's 10 hours sleep. Of course you're going to get up at 6 a.m. if you go to bed at 8 p.m. You can't sleep for 12 hours a night every single night, especially if you didn't do that much stuff during the day. It's not like you're out fucking,
Painting the town red.
Painting the town red, exactly. So, of course they're going to get up early because they've gone to bed early. Just makes sense.
But lots of people don't go to bed that early.
Well,
And they do get up real early.
Yeah, maybe. Some people.
Like my grandma, she's 86.
Yeah.
She's going to bed at like midnight.
Right.
Just crack of dawn.
Yeah. Getting up
5
to crack of dawn.
a.m.
Well, I guess that makes sense, right? Sort of ring out every minute.
Well, may as well.
While they're there, so you sort of...
Let's get depressing for a second.
Okay.
She was like, look, often my arthritis wakes me up. Because I've been lying down still for so long.
Right, that it's painful.
That it's becoming uncomfortable, and that wakes me up. And I was like, damn, that's not a cool thing to look forward to.
Yeah, that sounds like shit.
So that's what'll wake you up. It won't be the alarm of your bones.
Yeah, the boner alarm. Yeah. Couple of corrections from previous episodes. I said in the previous episode about the electric cars coming in and how we've got a new rebate in New Zealand to encourage people to buy the electric cars.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I'm pretty sure that rebate was paid for by the road taxes and so on from people who drive ICE cars, which is internal combustion engine cars, traditional old-fashioned obsolete vehicles. And I looked into that a little bit more, and it's not paid for by that. It is literally $3,000 more expensive if you hasn't started yet, but when it starts, if you want to buy a internal combustion engine ute next year or whatever, it's going to cost $3,000 more than it would have just now. Again, I completely agree with it. I don't really care. I'm pretty much all for it. But it is not covered, within the road tax. I thought people were just upset about the road tax being used to subsidise it. But it is literally going to cost people more money. So if you need a ute, an internal combustion engine ute, which is basically the only option at the moment, you do need to pay more. But, fuck, change is painful. Harden up, you farmers. Because
thank you for that update.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to clarify.
That was really important.
It was. And also, I had another little correction here, which is that a couple of episodes back, we were talking about some actor that you were talking about who had love affairs while he was on tour and he was boning on his groupies, but he didn't do anything illegal. He was just like a sleazy guy with a partner.
Chris D'Avella.
That's the one. And I was listening back to that episode, and I was saying, well, if he, does, inappropriate, well, not inappropriate, but like sort of sordid or lurid things that, and then it goes public, then he represents, Disney or whoever it is that he's working for, which is why he got dropped. But I didn't say lurid, and I didn't say sordid. I said torrid. Several times. Now, torrid means extremely dry, like a desert. It has nothing to do with sordid or lurid. So just a little correction there. Just wanted to, if anybody out there was like, Harley's using the wrong words, this guy's a fucking moron.
You were.
Yeah, I was using the wrong word.
And you are a fucking moron.
But I've corrected.
But now you've learned.
No, so I was a fucking moron.
Yeah.
It's different. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. That's all I'm saying. So just a little couple of corrections there, people out there. I remember one time I called Normandy, the Normandy beach landings from World War II, which was World War II, the invasion of France by the Allies, German-occupied France. Normandy was one of the beaches. I called it Normanby. I could never
live that down.
Never live that down because Normanby is a suburb in Dunedin. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the beach in France.
No.
Yeah.
Where this historic war.
Yeah.
This historic battle happened.
Shout out to Dottie Pie on the live stream.
Yeah, nice
Dottie
to see
Pie's
you, Dottie.
here.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Yes, thank you for coming by. You love coming at the end of the show. She's obviously a late internet user because I just guess she's American and she must be, and it must be like fucking 3 a.m. or something or 2, whatever time it is over there.
Well, we should go if we want to eat any food.
Yeah. There was some talk of Guy and I going now to get some food. Oh, and one of the things we didn't talk about is that tomorrow we are going to go and look at a flat for the potential for it to be the new Pigville Productions head office, because this flat that Guy's living in has become so infected that they've decided to bulldoze it.
Well, I will say that because they're bulldozing it to make way for a new waterway, because there is a sort of an issue when with the drainage when there's large rainfall, it overflows. Now, this is never... We've had several instances where like a stream has just run through our driveway down into the sort of the stream below our house, just straight down, like if you stepped in it, you might be carried down, sort of thing. Like quite a serious overflow. And this is always, I was always a bit like, that's kind of crazy. But the last time this happened, because it was a very large storm here in Auckland just recently, and the last time that it happened, it washed all the sewage through. And now the outside of our house smells like raw sewage. Right. And it reminded me
of when we lived together.
And raw sewage overflowed from the pipes outside, spraying
our flat.
Spraying shit all over our backyard.
Regularly.
Yeah, it was not like a one-off thing. It happened several times.
The shit was there more often than not.
Towards the end. And it just, that smell reminded me
you
very strongly.
And I used to let my dog out because he needed to go into the backyard. He'd just walk through the shit.
Walk it back in.
And then he'd go and, do a shit.
Yeah.
And then he'd walk back through the shit and into the house.
Yeah.
And that was cool with
Well,
everybody.
there was nothing
really.
that could be
was
done
just,
about
it. Was
it.
just the way it was when we were 18 and flatting together.
What are you going to do?
We were paying $60 for the whole flat.
Something like that. It was like $30 each or something.
And we paid $30 each.
It was close to a 30 that we were
per week, $30
we were
per
paying
week
appropriately
for a 2-bedroom flat.
We were paying appropriately for the quality of that flat.
No, but that flat was in the CBD.
Yeah,
It was
but the
super
overflowing
close to town.
sewage.
Hey, look, sewage. This is a technicality. $30 a week.
Yeah, but the no heating.
And then what we did was your girlfriend moved in.
Yep.
Well, there was heating. I used to build that fire. I used to do the fire.
Yeah,
what I used to do,
fire.
there was an open fire, and I used to go and get the wood from around the neighborhood, such as highly treated toxic logs from, retaining walls.
Chuck them on the open fire.
I'd chop them up with a blunt hatchet.
And inhale those fumes.
And then chuck them in the fire, and then we'd sit there surrounded by rubbish.
Well, plus all the plastic and stuff we used to burn on there.
I don't know if I was never really too big on burning plastic.
We definitely chucked some plastic in there.
I've no doubt that you did.
We.
And then your girlfriend moved in, so we charged her $40 a week to live there, which was really good, and we paid $10 each.
Genius.
Well, it was worked out very well for me. $10 a week rent, while you and your girlfriend shared one room for $50 between you.
Yeah,
not a bad deal. Classic Nevs.
I will say also that room,
that's what I'm hoping will happen if we move in together into this flat tomorrow.
Was so poorly insulated that in the winter I would go to bed with my clothes on for the next day because it was too cold to just sleep in like pajamas or a t-shirt and boxers or something, and it would be too cold to get out of my bed and go the distance to my drawers to put any type of clothes on in the morning. So I'd just go, cool, sweet, I'm getting ready for work. I'd chalk on my fucking cleaning outfit and fucking lie there shivering and cold as hell. Oh, the old icicles on the inside, classic Dunedin.
I'm a nude sleeper myself, even in Dunedin, nude sleeper.
Yeah, well, thank you for that visual to end this podcast.
Well, to add to the visual, it's the hair that makes it possible.
Of course.
Yeah. So, I have an evolutionary advantage, is what you could say. You could say that I am the future of humanity.
Yeah. Although that evolutionary advantage is the very thing that makes you repulsive to women.
Yeah, in terms of...
The irony.
It is ironic. And in terms of evolution, there's terms for both of those things.
Yes.
So one, on the one hand, you've got, survival of the fittest, which sort of suggests that you have an evolutionary advantage by being hairy because you keep warmer in colder conditions. But then on the other hand, there's sexual selection, which is that your advantage might not be actually to do with your environment. Your advantage is to do with the fact that you pass on your genes, by being sexually attractive. So you might not actually be very well suited to the environment, but you breed easily, because you survive long enough to breed and are an attractive person to breed with. So I've sort of got the worst of both worlds here, because in terms of sexual selection, it's a big no-no. In terms of survival of the fittest, I do think that the hair is an advantage for the most part. It keeps you warmer. There's no way that that's not an advantage unless you live like in the fucking Sahara, which I do not. I'm from Dunedin. But then, that's all that good work is undermined by the fact that my head is bald, which means that all the heat that I save from my hairy shoulders, or my hairy shoulders holding in the heat, it all escapes out the top of my head.
70%.
Yeah, so it's sort of, it
hasn't all worked out really.
No, I mean, if there was a God, you would show him me, and you'd go, "What the fuck, man? What is this? Are you even trying? What the fuck is going on here? Why is he so hairy and so bald? What? It doesn't make any sense. It's completely illogical. You are a failure, God."
And I feel like you've maybe had that conversation.
Yeah.
That's why I'm such a
devout atheist. That's why
I'm
such a convinced atheist.
Saying exactly that after taking a look at the mirror and then looking upwards.
Well, it's completely illogical. It is. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you... So the thing that makes me both hairy and bald is testosterone.
Yeah.
How does that make sense? What's the logic?
That's true.
There's no fucking logic here.
It's a contradiction.
Yeah, it's bullshit. You know what it comes down to? It actually comes down to the fact that I'm meant to be dead 20 years ago, basically, because, like in the Paleolithic, right, you're going to live to about 25 roughly.
Yeah.
That's when the average life expectancy in the Paleolithic was around 25.
Yeah.
Right? So, generally speaking, if you're hairy, that's fine. You don't go bald until later in life. And so it's like, I'm bald because I was meant to be dead by now.
Yeah.
That's why lots of people like Alzheimer's and these other types of diseases, various cancers and so on, in the past they weren't a problem because people didn't live long enough for those things to come about. But now they come about because of the extended life expectancy of humans. So you end up with like anomalies, fucking quirks of evolution, such as myself, who are both simultaneously incredibly hairy and bald because of the extended life expectancy of humans now. So you could say...
to have died at 25.
Exactly. I'm a victim of our success, humanity's success. I'm a victim of it.
Well, I think it's really time to go now.
Okay.
Got to go to the bathroom.
Yep, I sort of need a piss as well. So yes, the final update on that flat is that we're looking at a flat tomorrow. I'm excited. I want to live there. I think I hope we get it because I want to do that. I want to get Pigville under the same roof, have us doing the podcast, have us maybe doing little vlogs and little updates and getting to work. Because if we're not living in this flat, it's a very real possibility that you're going to end up living in the deep south somewhere very far away.
Yes,
and that will be the death knell of Pigville. And this podcast will be all digital again. We'll never hang out in person. And then because we don't hang out in person, the podcast will get more and more difficult because it's increasingly difficult when you're doing I noticed this when we're doing the podcast digitally. It was difficult to like have a bit of banter because it's like, well, I can't say that. It might offend him because I haven't hung out with him for 6 months. I don't know what offends him anymore. We don't have the rapport. So I'm sincerely hoping that this flat we find tomorrow is perfect and we get it. That would be solve a lot of my problems anyway. But we'll let you guys know, of course, right here on the Guy and Harley podcast.
Alrighty. See you later.